The Spellstrider has been added to the Duskblade mod as a subclass, so we are going to go after it. We're going to level by level, commentary on all the items you could ever need, so of course we start with the Duskblade, and this gives us arcane channeling. When not impeded by armour, shield, two-handed weapon, or dual wielding, you can channel your arcane power to enhance your melee weapon attacks. Your melee weapon attacks do an additional 1 to 4 force damage. We also get Armoured Mage. So your specialised training allows you to channel arcane power while wearing light armour or medium armour. You can channel arcane power to enhance your defence. You can add up to half your intelligence modifier, rounded up to your armour class. Really, really cool. Now when it comes to your cantrips, we are going to start with Booming Blade. We're going to start with Ray of Frost, and we're going to start with Firebolt. Some nice ranged capabilities, 3 different damage types, really good options here in my opinion. Now when it comes to your starting weapon for this build, I would recommend starting when you can see it. Sadly, the bottom is cut off for some reason, but we do want to start with the short sword. And then for your ability points, we're going to have 8 strength, 16 dexterity, 14 constitution, 16 intelligence, 10 wisdom, 10 charisma. For your proficiencies, take whatever you feel like. Duskblade level 2 brings combat casting. You're adept at casting spells in combat. You have advantage on saving throws to maintain concentration on a spell. This is incredible. We get to pick 2 spells at this point, so we're going to take Thunder Wave, amazing from the start of the game to the end of the game, for pushing enemies off of beams, balconies, ledges, for either full damage or to just kill them outright, as well as Magic Missile, because this is also a great spell from the start to the end. Duskblade level 3 brings our specialisation. Now before that we get 1 spell, so we're going to take Shield, a nice reactionary based spell to avoid taking damage. And then that brings us to the Spellstrider. So Arcane Channeling 2 weapon, so we can now channel our arcane power while dual wielding, and we get it through our offhand. Duskblade level 4 brings our first feat. Now for this we're going to take Shocking Grasp. And then for 1 more spell, we're going to come in here and we're going to take Hold Person to benefit from that advantage we can hold. We gain 1 feat, and for this we are going to bump our dexterity up to 18. Duskblade level 5 brings an extra attack and quick cast. You've honed the fusion of arcane power and martial techniques. After you cast a spell, you can make a free weapon attack, and this is awesome as well. Now we gain 1 more spell, and for this one we're going to take Misty Step to help us get around the battlefield. Duskblade level 6 brings spell power. You can channel your arcane power to more easily overcome magic defense. When not impeded to channel our arcane power, any opponent we hit with a melee weapon attack has disadvantage on their saving throw against spells you cast before the end of your next turn. So if you have a really tough enemy, you can hit them, and then on your next turn you can cast a spell to try and nullify them. We gain 1 more spell, and for this one we're going to take Mirror Image to try and boost our AC even further. Duskblade level 7 brings Arcane Mobility, so your magical attunement makes you swifter than normal. Our movement speed is increased by 3 meters. We gain 1 more spell at this point, and for this one we are going to take Haste. Duskblade level 8 brings a new feat as well as our 3rd level spell slots. So for a spell here we are going to take Counterspell to help us battlefield control. And for a feat we're going to bump our dex up to 20. Duskblade level 9 brings another spell, and for this one we are going to take Fireball, because it's Fireball. Duskblade level 10 gives Arcane Flurry. So when dual wielding and not impeded by armour, you can channel arcane power through your melee weapons to deal 3 to 12 force damage to all nearby enemies. We gain 1 more cantrip, and for this one we're going to take Minor Illusion. And then for a spell we are going to take the Glyph of Warding, because I think this spell is incredible. Usually you place the glyph and if an enemy walks into it, it will trigger. However, you can actually place this on top of enemies on your turn, and then when you end turn, it will trigger exploding because there's enemies within it, meaning you can kind of use it like a bomb. Duskblade level 11 brings Arcane Penetration. Your understanding of arcane channeling allows your spells and attacks to ignore resistance to force damage. We gain 1 more spell, and for this one I would take Edvard's Black Tentacles, as I think this spell is just phenomenal. This was in my top 10 list. And then Duskblade level 12 brings our final feat, as well as a 5th level spell slot, which we're going to use for Cloud Kill. What's really good about this, as long as you're maintaining concentration, you can move the cloud every turn. And then for your feat here, you could take Alert, however I am going to take Savage Attacker. meaning that when we make melee weapon attacks, we can roll our damage dice twice and use the highest result. Okay, when it comes to equipment, we're going to start with a Mask of Soul Perception for that +2 bonus to attack rolls, initiative, and perception checks. We're going to take the Cloak of Displacement, so on our turn, at the start of it, it will activate, granting disadvantage on attack rolls against us, and it lasts until we take damage. For boots, we're going to take the Boots of Genial Striding, so we're not impeded by difficult terrain. The Armour of Agility, this gives us exotic materials, meaning we can add our Dexterity to our armour class, and then add our Intelligence on top. Meaning, if you look, our armour class is 24. We're going to pair this with the Hell Dust Gloves, +1 bonus to spell attack rolls and spell save DC, as well as a 1 to 6 fire damage on our weapon attacks. For rings, the Shifting Corpus Ring for invisibility and blur. The Caustic Band for 2 solid acid damage. The Moondrop Pendants, when we have 50% hit points or less, we won't provoke opportunity attacks. And then for swords, we're going to take the Sword of Life Stealing. Oh, as I press off it. So on a critical hit, we'll take the target will take an additional 10 necrotic damage, and we can gain 10 temporary hit points. And then in our offhand, we're going to use the Ambusher, +1 to our initiative and advantage on perception ability checks. Ties in very nicely with our mask. Ambusher Streaks in combat, you do an additional 1 to 6 necrotic damage against creatures that haven't taken a turn yet. And then we have our Arcane Channeling. So that is the build, let's go check it out. Okay, you can see we're in combat and we have our cloak displaced, so let's start pumping out some damage. Now first thing we can do is obviously our channeling our offhand, and we also have all this arcane channeling here. So if we trigger our arcane channeling, we can stab the enemy here, and you'll see we pumped out a bunch. We can also then do arcane channeling with our offhand, which sadly was a big miss, but once again we can do our arcane channeling with our main one, thanks to our extra attack. And you'll see if we had all of our abilities working, or so if we wouldn't have missed our attack, we would have killed the enemy outright. They are stricken with Arcane Inertia though, which means they now have disadvantage on their saving throws against spells. And a big miss thanks to our cloak, and our high AC. Now don't forget we do have the ability to cast a spell and then attack after. So we could cast a Mirror Image to boost our AC, and then thanks to our abilities we can follow up with a big attack, and you'll see the huge crit we just did. If we come to the combat log, just here, you will see that we hit them for 28, 32, 34, 38, almost 46 points of damage with one attack. Now bearing in mind we have 3 attacks per round, if you can land a few crits, you can really pump this up. And a big miss thanks to our Mirror Image, and again, really protecting ourselves against those heavy hits. Now once again, we can use that ability to cast an attack to our advantage by trying to land a hold person. Now we're going to upcast this to, we'll do level 4, so we can hold 3 people. And we'll hold the Barbarian, we'll hold the Archer here and the Archer here. And there you go. We held 2 out of 3. And what's really good about this is not only are now all melee attacks on these held characters guaranteed criticals, but we have advantage to maintain our concentration. And this means we can do our Arcane Flurry, we can do our Channel Arcane, we can even do a Booming Blade. So if we do a Booming Blade, you'll see how this works here. And you'll see the huge crit we just did, where we did over 82 points of damage, while still maintaining our concentration, meaning we can move up to this enemy next. And Mirror Image once again helping us out there. And you see the enemy failed their save, so they're still held. And then when it's at this point, you can save some of your Arcane Channel if you want to just do regular attacks. However, you might as well do it and get those big crits going. You can use your main for one, you can use your offhand for another. And then theoretically, if we had the space to get up here, which we might not thanks to the enemy. Oh no, we do. We still have another attack available for us to attack this enemy here. In which case we'll try an Arcane Flurry. And this would affect everyone in an arc. And you see they're still stricken with Arcane Inertia, so you can really spread this around to give them disadvantage on saving throws. And once again, big misses. Between Mirror Image, between our high AC, and between the Cloak of Displacement, we are so very defensive and able to avoid so many attacks. And again, this works for so many other reasons. For example, let's say we've got people in this position. We want to move in close. We've got an enemy near the ledge, so let's do a Thunder Wave. And we'll throw it down at 2nd level, see if we can push the enemy off the beam, or the building I should say, just like that. So that ended their fight instantly, and what's really good about this is if there was another enemy up here, we could follow it up with another attack. Sadly, they are a bit too far away for us, so we haven't got that ability, so we can Misty Step and start closing the enemies down. And then we can once again still follow up with another Arcane Channeling or a Booming Blade. And pump out that damage, once again strikening another enemy with Arcane Inertia. And it really is that easy, it's just a case of smacking enemies with your Arcane Channeling. You can see we've also got the 10 temporary hit points thanks to our equipment setup. And it really is a case of just wiping these enemies out ASAP. We can even, once again, use a bonus action to Misty Step if we wanted to try and get up here, but alas, we will just save our spell slots for a second. And once again, if you wanted to, you could do something like a Ray of Frost, smack them like that, and then run in and hit them with another Booming Blade. If you wanted to, you could hit them with another Arcane Channeling, but we'll do the Booming Blade,
No time for mercy.
and hopefully finish this fight. Or miss. Now if you look at our spell slots, we have no level 2s left, and we've lost one of our level 4s. Booming Blade, for the power spike it is a cantrip. So you can use this as much as you want to without expending your spell slots, and it does so much good damage. Now when it comes to this build, please note, as you see we have missing those spell slots. If we short rest, they do not come back. So Booming Blade and Hold Person are really your best friends for this build, and then you can just run around, get those crits with your dual wielding, and just pump out the damage. So I really hope you have enjoyed this build. If you have, please let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video and let me know what you change, other abilities, items, all that fun stuff. If you want to support the channel, you can by becoming a member today for like $2 a month or something. It helps me tremendously, and I would be eternally grateful. Regardless, I really do hope you have enjoyed, and if you have, hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.